Regular meeting, May 11. Okay. Any changes or additions, deletions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All righty. Alderman Grover, how about payroll and bills?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move A1, which is our payroll through May 3rd of $2,371,783.99, and not a penny more.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Want to do the bills?
I will. A2, I move approval of our bills through May 27th, 2015, in the amount of $2,690,775.52.
Second?
Okay. Any discussion? The bills, answers?
Everybody look at the
Few
bills list?
seconds, Peter?
Yep.
No, take your time.
So, Alderman Rainey, the director for Connections is gone already, though, right? The new director?
Is here?
No, gone already.
Gone already.
I think.
It's an interesting department.
What was an answer to your question about?
Anything else? Anybody else? Hearing no questions or concerns, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
Alderman Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A3.1, approval of agreement with Open Kitchens Incorporated for the 2015 Summer Food Service Program, bid 1528. Staff recommends the City Council authorize the city manager to execute the agreement for the 2015 Summer Food Program with Open Kitchens in the amount of $128,474.
Second.
Just a comment about this. I hope we make some real public relations announcements about this, especially the breakfast part. I don't think we did breakfast before, did we? Ever? Have we? Peter? Joe McCray?
Yes, I was going to call him by his title, though.
Director, Deputy.
Ration, service, and doesn't he have a
Community service?
deputy city manager title also? I don't want to leave any of that stuff out. He worked hard for that.
I have no comment.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. Your question first, and then I was going to follow up with a question. But
I just didn't, I think it's fabulous that we're doing breakfast.
Right.
We didn't do that before, did we?
Correct.
No, okay. You want to talk about it just a bit?
Actually, I would like to call to the stage my incredible Assistant Director, Bob Dorniker, to do some talking tonight.
And can I just say before you go
Yes.
that, so I received a couple of phone calls from restaurants in the community, so I've always been really critical about this specific bill, trying to figure out why we can't find a local vendor
Right.
in town to do it. And so I did hear from a few folks that they've
Right.
tried to complete it, but just based on the request, they didn't have the right setup to complete. So at
Yeah.
least thank you very much for doing the
Yes.
outreach.
It's a capacity thing, and so
Yeah, yeah.
it's quite the undertaking to provide this number of lunches, and there's state standards involved in that. And so we did go out and look locally. The high school was one of the entities
Saw that.
that we looked at, which tells you something about the capacity needed to provide the meals.
that off.
So
Yes, sir.
we're not-
It's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean,
And especially since most of them are served outside and you have to keep the food at a certain temperature, I mean,
Right.
there's really a lot involved
Yep.
in it.
and it's the kind of thing that if you got it, you would say to yourself, why did I wish for this?
Yeah, yeah.
I think for a local,
Yeah.
smaller firm.
And I pay attention to the quality of the meals that we're serving as well. I mean, it isn't just your simple sloppy Joe. I mean, there are choices, and so.
There is a bologna sandwich in there, which is my personal favorite. I digress.
My family, it's a favorite. All right, Bob, do you want to add to this?
Just quickly, the information will be distributed through various forms through the school district as well as all of our newsletters and that, both electronically, and we still do distribute that on some of the paper flyers that's required by the state of Illinois.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, do you, the hours for breakfast, or the kids will get there at What time will they
The
be?
hours are going to vary per site,
Oh,
so
okay.
similar to the lunch program, we haven't established them in total yet, but we will do that because some of them are actually going to be, we're going to try to cater them to some of the sites that we already have operating at those programs, such as Fleetwood and Crown, as well as the one down at Dewey School.
Great. Fantastic.
Great, great. All right, all those in favor of recommending this to the council, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next is approval of a single-source purchase of hardware and software licenses from Dell. This is a huge purchase, and it's going to make our employees much more efficient and get rid of some of the old, out-of-date computers. Any discussion? Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second. No discussion? Okay.
Do we have Jose? Does he want to say something?
In the amount of,
Jose, do you want to say anything?
It's nice of
It's great memo, by the way.
Yeah.
When I first read it, I had no idea what you were talking about. By the time I finished, I did.
Good evening, Madam Chair, committee members. Just wanted to point out, this is our second phase in the deployment. 2013, you approved the initial deployment of 100, and we're expanding upon that this time with 300 additional virtual desktops.
Excellent.
Jose, how many bring your own devices have we managed to do? This is one of the parts of the virtual desktop where instead of having the small box, we're actually having employees say, I'd rather just use my own laptop, and that's a great change.
I believe we've had 18, and we're hoping to get up to 20 with this additional, 20 more on top of the 18 with this additional.
And can they be Apple or any
They can be
variety?
Apple devices,
I
absolutely.
use it with this right here, so, on the iPad.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor of recommending this purchase to the council, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alderman Braithwaite.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move item 3.3, approval of the 2015 expenditure of Total Parking Solutions for annual pay station maintenance fees.
second.
Any discussion? I have a question. Are we having any issues with more than random issues with these machines?
Ricky Voss is here, Madam Chair.
I
Making his way to the podium.
mean, I'm sure every now and then something, but is there any, like, inherent problem with these at all?
We ran into some minor problems down in Lot 3. I'm sorry, Madam Chair, members of the committee, Ricky Voss. In Lot 3, we've taken a corrective action. What it was a communication problem. So AT...
What does that mean?
That-
What
where's Lot
means is
3?
that it was not communicating with the towers correctly. So they had to come in and reconfigure the 3 machines so they communicated correctly, and therefore we've reduced a lot of the problems that we had in the particular lot. Lot 54, which is up on Central Street, we've had absolutely no problems at all. So the majority of the machines are working as designed. These are the pay stations in the surface lots.
Is Lot 3 the library?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because that's where I have all my problems, okay.
What about the lot where, across from Union Pizza?
Union and Space.
It's underneath,
Oh, underneath that lot,
residential.
Lot 60?
Yeah, I don't know what number.
Communicates, we've never had a problem with that machine. And that machine's the oldest of all of them. I mean, that machine's been there since when we first introduced the pay stations.
All right. And is the pay station different? There's a pay station where you put your money in, then you go put the thing in the car in Chicago. I don't know, do we have those here?
No.
No,
We-
okay.
the
So
here-
you're talking about just, you go and you put your slot, your space number in and you
Correct.
pay. Yeah.
All our machines are based that way. Well, I take that back, except for one,
Okay.
which is in the 600 block of Clark.
Okay, what about the lot next to Smiley Brothers?
That has a pay station, and it's strictly
Any
pay by
problem?
space. Not to my, we've not reported to me, no.
Okay. What about with the parking meters, where you insert your credit card? Any problems?
We have periodic problems like anything else that's technical, but we're working with Duncan right now on a weekly phone-in on correcting some problems, not only with coin, but with also credit cards, so we can clear those up.
Yeah, okay. Just seems that they're so slow, to accept your card, just seems so slow. All right.
Just a quick
Alderman
follow-up,
Bray.
Mr. Voss. So on the parking meters downtown Evanston, if you try to pay before 8 o'clock, there's a credit given on the meter so that you're not paying for time that you're not using, right?
If you try to pay before 9 o'clock, yes.
Yeah, right. So are these meters, the meters in the other lots, do they have that same software ability?
They're designed not to tell you, don't pay.
They tell you not to pay.
Right, they are designed to do that.
So I think,
So we're working with Duncan and Calais on both to
Okay.
ensure that's happening.
so I've run into that problem, at least with the tenants over at the Cos building, that some of the patients that go to see the dentist, I mean, he starts taking appointments as early as 7 o'clock. And so they find themselves in that situation because they can't pay early, that they're,
They're programmed to pay early and to kick in at 9 or at 8 o'clock, so they're not penalized. That's the way they're programmed.
okay, I'll make
So
sure that the office follows up with you
Yes,
then.
you should be able to put your money in at 7 o'clock, and it will be banked until 8, and then it should give you the time that you paid for.
Got it. Okay, I'll make sure she follows up.
Marty?
Thank you.
And I would just encourage everyone, while we're not proud of this, but meters and pay stations do sometimes lead the way even over potholes as far as things that show up in 311. So if someone has their phone with them, there's an issue, please put it into your phone, call in right away. That's how we get people out immediately to take care of the meters or the pay stations.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none. All those in favor of recommending this to the council, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alderman Grover.
I move our approval of A3.4, which is renewal of an agreement with GSG Material Testing for material testing and inspection services in the amount of $136,000, and this is the second year of a 3-year contract.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alderman Holmes.
A 3.5, approval of the contract with G.A. Johnson and Sons for the Curry Park renovation project bid 1533 in the amount of $278,255.36.
Okay. Any discussion of this?
I had a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
And when we originally did this, was it contemplated that the city would have a share in the cost
Oh, I
of the
think so.
park renovation?
I
It
think
wasn't all going to be Caravali's responsibility?
I think so.
I don't remember.
When I'm sorry, Madam Chair, when this was the escrow was originally set up, it was for park renovation. I can remember being involved in that specifically, and the scope of the project has expanded a little bit because at the time we were looking more at the south end of the park area, and since then we are looking at both the whole park. But the courts, the basketball court was always anticipated. I think it's just the redo of the entire area because we've not been able to grow grass, and it could use the renovation. So from an inflationary standpoint, we'd be up to about 220. It's been 4.5, 5 years since we got the escrow on the park.
Thank you.
But it was planned that they would do what they're saying they're going to do now, and we added to it.
That is correct.
I mean, we didn't know that was going to have to be done, right? The additional.
Well, I think when we looked at basically the entire use of the park, that it was an opportune time to take care of everything, rather than just what was going to be disturbed by the construction.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's cool.
Oh, and I'm sorry, one of the other parts of this would be the cutout for the traffic on Hinman. That was not originally contemplated as a part of the process. So when we chose not to do Dempster with a cutout there, we did have the expense for the Hinman traffic relief for drop-offs.
All righty. Alderman, this is me. It is A3.6, approval of a contract with Construction Consulting and Disbursement Services for the Ecology Center Classroom Extension. This is in the amount of $192,959, including a donation of $43,000. Am I in the wrong one? Huh? Oh, I think we didn't. On A3.5? I thought we did. All right.
It was moved in second.
All those in favor of 3.5, say aye.
Aye.
I want to get this done. Any opposed? Hearing none. All right. Anyway, so 43,000 is going to be a contribution from the Evanston Environmental Association to
Second.
assist in this project. This has to do with removing the greenhouse and adding. Yes, we did. Yes, we certainly did. Any discussion on this? This is a nice project, yeah. All those in favor of recommending to the council approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. Thank you, Alderman Braithwaite, now that you're a senior alderman, for pointing that out.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item A, 4.1, approval of sidewalk cafe for Bangers and Lace at 810 Grove Street.
This has come a long way, hasn't it?
I haven't been in there
I
yet,
mean,
but I'm waiting to go in there and
This
check it
address
out.
has come a
Yeah.
long way. All those in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations to Bangers and Lace. All right. Owners here? Congratulations. Nice job. Do you want to talk? Come talk.
That's good enough, thank you.
All right. Next, A 4.2.
Already again.
Yeah.
A 4.2 is our approval of a sidewalk cafe for the Wine Goddess at 702 Main.
Civilization will never be as we knew it now that this is happening. Yes, yes. I mean, the 6 chairs they're going to get is just mind-boggling. All those in favor of the Wine Goddess's Sidewalk Cafe, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
A5, Resolution 53-R-15, appointing a director and alternate director to the Solid Waste Agency of Northern Cook County. Staff recommends adoption of this resolution, appointing Mayor Elizabeth Tisdall to the director and City Manager Wally Bobkowitz to the alternate director. This was for a term of 2 years expiring in April 30th, 2017.
Second. Well, we congratulate them.
Absolutely.
Yes. All those, pardon me?
And thank them.
Yeah, and thank them, yes, thank them. All those in favor of recommending their appointment to the council, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Resolution 55R15 authorizes the extension of a license to Comcast, which allows them to maintain a building and a fence in the public right-of-way on Mulford and Parkland in James Park. You go down that street, and there it is. So this has to do with maintenance of the system for its customers. Any discussion?
Second.
Pardon me?
Reduce their rates, but that's not up for vote right now. Just thought I'd say
Well,
that.
the way we could handle that is increase
Increase their rates.
lease fee, you know?
Absolutely. Because they are at all
We
our
could
parks.
surprise them from time to time with great
Just like they do
increases.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be.
Every
great.
6 months, in
Yeah,
fact.
we could do that.
Can we check with legal, send it to legal and see if we
There's
can?
legal, he's listening.
He isn't
All those in
smiling.
favor of recommending approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there anybody here from Comcast? We'd have a little chat with you. Yeah. It is an incredible billing system.
Yeah, we get your bill next month, we probably all have increases.
Alderman Grover. Wait,
A-
no, is this
I
Alderman
think it's
Braithwaite?
Peter.
Peter.
Alderman Braithwaite.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move item A7, Resolution 50-R-15, ComEd Customer Work Agreement for work at the water treatment plant.
Any discussion? This is really important.
Yeah.
All those in favor of recommending this to the council, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now Alderman Grover, I'm paying attention.
A8 is Resolution 54R15, which is authorizing us to use motor fuel tax funds for roadway construction. in the amount of $350,000 for street resurfacing. And with the difference between the resolution amount and what we'd already budgeted for MFT, I'm guessing we're going to somehow reconcile it by either amending the budget or the resolution at some future date. But I move approval of this resolution.
Second.
Thank you, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
A-
Alderman Holmes?
A9, ordinance 71-0-15, alley paving special assessment number 1515, which is allowing the paving of the alley north of Harrison Street, east of Central Park Avenue, north-south leg only through special assessment process. Funding of $193,586.18 is provided by the Capital Improvement Fund, and the property owners will reimburse the city $96,793.09 for their share of the 50% of the project. Suspension of the rules is requested for introduction and action for tonight.
So we'll take this off the consent
Off the agenda, yes.
Okay, any discussion? Anybody here from this alley that would like to speak? Seeing none. All those in favor of recommending introduction and action to the council, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Ordinance, 72-015 amends Title 10 Motor Vehicle and Traffic, Chapter 11, Section 10, Schedule X, F3, Residential Exemption Parking District M. The amendment here includes 1800 Ridge in the Residential Exemption Parking District M for introduction.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of recommending to the council, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
As a follow-up, Madam Chair, I'd like to move item A11, ordinance 73-0-15, amending the Title 10 Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 11, Traffic Schedule, Section 10, Schedule F, X, F6, Residential Exemption Parking District A.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Anybody here for this? No. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Madam Chair, I move A12, ordinance 74-015, amending our motor vehicle code for Evanston resident-only parking districts. Trying to figure out which streets. Anyway, the Parking Transportation Committee and staff have been very busy, it appears.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Any discussion of this?
Subsection B, District E2.
Are we ready?
A second.
Okay, all those in favor of recommending to the council, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
A13, ordinance 75-0-15, amending Title 10 Motor Vehicle and Traffic, Chapter 11, Section 18, Schedule 17, is that right? Yeah. Residential parking only, District 4, which is Greenwood Street to Lake Street.
Right, that's what it is, right? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, committee, we have items for discussion, MWEBE and the LEP program.
Yes, Madam Chair. I will be handling the, at least the start for the MWEBE LEP program, along with the chair to my right. If Jonathan would bring it up. So the format that you see here on the screen is our normal annual report. I'm not going to read the annual report to you. I'm just going to talk briefly and also ask for Alderman Braithwaite to chime in. I think you can basically, from what is listed, it tells all about this committee, the terms.
Excuse me,
Yes.
people would like the light
Ah.
off so they can see,
So
and I don't know which light.
it's this one.
There you go. Works great.
Come on.
Is it that one?
It is that one. That's the screen. I know better than to raise the screen.
There it goes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, now you can.
Much better.
It is much easier. So, and this, I will say that for the 2014 year, this committee hit its stride, made some substantial changes, recommended changes to the enabling ordinance for the committee, to the city council. Specifically, I think if I were to look at the top 3 issues that the committee tackled, it was that we had an increased level of compliance in the minority women and Evanston-based employment goal. So as you may recall, the MWEBE resolution is a council goal, so we can go below the 25%, but for the year, we did exceed that goal. The second achievement was the change in the enforcement process for the local employment program, where we changed from a $100 a day fine to the 1% fine. But during the year, we actually had a temporary contractual employee in place for the entire year, Sharon Johnson, who is now a full-time permanent employee, who has helped us to gain compliance by going through every one of our contracts for that compliance. And it takes a very good individual with a knack for reading a variety of construction firm payrolls. And we have to go through each one and make sure that they do comply. Going to the change in formula has made that a little bit simpler. However, through her efforts, we did receive, we don't really want to receive it, but we received over $20,000 in fines for noncompliance, and those fines then were turned around and used as a part of a training program. So the committee reviewed training programs, and we have done a training program for OSHA. That is, every member on the LEP list took a 10-hour OSHA training class. We're working on with Oakton College to do now I'll draw a blank on the license, on a commercial, a CDL licensing. So, and in some cases, some of this training will not train these Evanston residents to necessarily be a part of our construction programs, but anybody with a CDL is immediately more employable. So, and we even brought in a member from Oakton to discuss, was it Oakton or who came in to talk about the trucking aspects?
Yeah, what's up?
From Oakton, that to discuss one of their programs about residents gaining a over-the-road trucking license and how you do that through gaining the CDL. So that was a committee instituted event. And then the other major area was our basic workforce development, where we began meeting with the employee list on an evening basis. We also invited them during the day for one of our sessions. And finally, we continue our Procurement 101, which is a educational seminar every year given to all Evanston businesses who wish to try and do business with Rotary, City of Evanston, the 2 school districts, the hospital, and Northwestern. So we have members from each of those organizations come and explain how best to do business, what our calendars are, when we buy, and what we buy. Did I miss anything, Alderman Braithwaite?
No, I think you did a pretty good job there. I guess I'll take an opportunity just to say thank you very much to I'll start with Alderman Tendem. He jumped in last year as an appointment from the Community Economic Development Committee to assist. In addition to that, we have Tammy Turner sitting in the back of the room, who has been very instrumental. Janella, who's sitting in front of us. Sharon Johnson, who unfortunately isn't here. And, of course, a huge thank you to Marty for all the work that you've done behind the scenes and making those late-night meetings. I think this year, out of all the years of chairing, has been the most rewarding to see the progress. As Marty said, we've really made some significant strides, and I just want to acknowledge the members of the committee that are here and City Council for taking on this task, as well as the mayor, who sort of made workforce development one of her top priorities. And I think we're doing it effectively. We still have a lot of work to do, but it's because of your difficult questions and making sure that we do it right that I think we're able to show the significant improvement over the past year. Some of our challenges that we're looking forward to the future is working closer with Northwestern. I've already started conversations with school board members from 65 and 202, asking them, are they doing the same thing, keeping track of their local spends? And together, I think we're really going to make a huge improvement for our residents. I also want to acknowledge Directors Robinson and we met with Dave Stonebeck, and since I don't see Dave here, I'll just talk about Director Robinson for a moment. We had a chance to sit with Public Works and Utilities and look at the differences in terms of the compliancy and why it works in this department and why there's some challenges over in the other department. And so, Director Robinson, I just want to say thank you so much for making the time to meet with our committee, explain what those challenges are, and her compliancy rate as a Public Works Director is excellent when it comes to our MWB within the last year. So I want to note that. And she also presented a very, very comprehensive sort of apprentice program with the possibility of fleets. So I know with the movement going on that I just want to say it now that I want to make sure that we do not lose track of that program. It's another wonderful opportunity to work very closely with our graduating youth at Evanston Township and get them involved with our fleet services at an early age. So thank you very much for presenting that, Director. I can go on, but I'll stop. Again, just a huge round of thank yous to everyone that has contributed to making that program a success.
Really special.
It really is a good feeling.
Thank you very much for your leadership on this. Yes, Alderman Grover and then Alderman Holmes.
I've got to say, it seems as if in some of these conversations previously about our MWEB and local employment programs that we were talking more on the negative about enforcing compliance and fines and penalties, and it's really refreshing to see that we've been able to make the difference doing things like educational outreach and the workforce development and collaboration and education. It's more the carrots than the sticks, and I think this shows that those are really pretty effective, backed up by strong compliance, but it's really bringing people on board, employers on board with this, and it's easier to do when we give them the resources rather than threaten. So this is good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Holmes.
Alderman Rainey, my question really was to you. Did we ever get an answer to your question in terms of the amount of the contracts for the different vendors? I can't remember the exact amount. Did we ever get an answer for that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Okay.
What's that?
Well, one of the issues that we've raised over time is the contracts that we do let that are
You mean, are you referring to the five?
MWEB, more M and E than W, are very small, that we miss out on the giant ones
Right.
because of the opportunities.
I will apologize on behalf of Alderman Braithwaite. We provide that as a monthly information to the MWEB committee, so we break it down between M and W and EBE in a monthly report. We will send the last few reports to the council.
Is it on the website under that committee? or
Yes.
no?
The packet
Yes.
should be there.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
just send
we
it?
will forward it to the council.
It's so important.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, we have a new staff person now with the new organizational changes. We have our city manager, Wally Bobkowitz, is going to be chairing the committee.
Well, staffing the committee.
Staffing.
And we've
Thank you.
talked about
Excuse the
adding the
slip.
report to the Friday packet,
that
so that when it comes out, that's probably the easiest, simplest way to distribute it in the future.
But it's monthly, right?
That's
I
right.
mean,
So we'll
it's not-
stick it in as we do other monthly reports in the Friday packet.
Oh, okay. I just never remember seeing it. And
I
that's-
don't.
Oh, yeah. No, it's
But
a very comprehensive
we didn't
report. I think you'd be
go
impressed.
fishing for it, but
Great.
it was there evidently. All right, well, I appreciate that you do that. I just wanted to say one thing about Evanston business, and that is one was qualified recently as an Evanston business, or they came to the fore, a contractor, and they live in Evanston, right on Ridge. And so when the car went through Peckish Pig this weekend, he was at the ready. Just,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
wonderful.
just,
Who was he? Call his name.
his name is Dennis O'Hare.
Dennis O'Hara.
Yeah. So
Little advertising for Mr. O'Hara. Congratulations. Thank you.
somebody else went out and boarded it up, and then they got a glass person and the brick person, and
That's
all got
awesome.
done. Yeah, right. So, but I mean, it's convenient. They can respond to emergencies
Yeah.
more than somebody from Blue
Yeah.
Island or Harvard.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just really great.
It's great.
All right. Anything else from staff?
We do have another.
One more.
We do have another discussion item. Director Robinson will be discussing the extension of our apprenticeship program. As you may be aware, we have had apprenticeship in the utilities department, and we have had it in Public Works, but Suzette's going to go over the program itself.
Just the
Thank
two
you,
departments
Jonathan.
just make so much sense. I mean, Thank you,
Good
Director
evening.
Robinson.
Suzette Robinson, Director of Public Works, Chairman Rainey, committee members. As Assistant City Manager Lyons indicated, we have had more of informal training programs through our seasonal program, and we wanted to formalize it, so we met as a group and came up with an apprenticeship program. What I'm going to talk tonight about is primarily dealing with facilities. We did develop a program for Fleet, and I have not had an opportunity to speak with Erica to see how we might still make that work. So the proposed requirements for the apprenticeship program would be they would have to be an Evanston resident and also participate in the Mayor's Summer Youth Employment Program for at least 2 years. High school diploma, Illinois driver's license, 18 years old, and a commitment, of course, to complete the program. And what's really key about the SYEP program, specifically if they're assigned to Public Works, we do actually have 2 facilities embedded SYEP employees. So though there are opportunities every year for people to come to work, not only just on the green team, but also with our street staff, recycling, and as well as the facilities and engineering as well. So I'm calling it Part 1 because it's not really a year, it's only a 6 months program. So during the first 6 months, there would be an apprentice 1, and it would last for 6 months. The 11 hours per hour is what we pay a seasonal laborer. It requires coursework completion. So there is a facility maintenance technology certificate program that's offered through Oakton Community College. And as we go along, you'll see we're actually getting them to complete their certificate program as well as work here part-time. So, and then it also requires a successful completion of an in-house aptitude evaluation. And what I mean by that is the in-house facility staff would basically, communicate, do some practical testing to make sure that the person had the aptitude to continue in the facilities trade. Part 2, the pay would go up $2 an hour. They would have to complete 8 hours of the coursework at Oakton, and then they would also have to obtain their commercial driver's license, the permit, during that same process. And we would help them. We have books, and we also transport them to the facility in order for them to qualify for a permit.
Suzette, how old do you have to be to have a CDL?
For the state, within the state, 18.
18. That's great.
Is this in place now?
That's fabulous.
Will it be starting soon?
I'm sorry.
You'll be starting soon, effective?
Well, we already do that for our seasonal employees, so
Got it.
that have the desire that we actually try to encourage all of them to get their CDLs. Not all of them are so inclined, but we do that currently. So ideally, we would like this in place to start in the fall.
Okay.
So for the fall school year.
Nice.
The facility maintenance worker 3, again, the pay would increase $2 an hour to $15. They have to complete the coursework again, and then during that same time frame, they actually have to obtain their CDL. So again, as a part of the testing process, in order for them to get a Class B with air brakes endorsement, they actually have to go, and they are allowed to go in one of our trucks. So one of our drivers takes them up, does the practical with them so that they can get their license. So,
Do you mind if we interrupt you?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
no,
I can
no.
wait. I can hold.
Do you want to wait?
Yeah, I'll hold.
Can you
Sorry.
wait?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
I have two.
Madam Chair.
and then the Part 4 is, again, a $2 increase. At this point, that's the last remaining hours to obtain the certificate. So it's a 2-year program, and they should obtain the facility maintenance technology. So that's the last component piece for 6 months. And then after that, they will be hired as a part-time facility maintenance worker, and that pay jumps quite significantly to 24, and that's based on today's rate. They will work
Briefly, if they get to this point, they're guaranteed that job, right?
to be hired as a permanent part-time facility maintenance worker. And then the 25 to 28 hours and a position becomes permanent, a union employee after 6 months probation. So then what this does is it sets them up. Our facility maintenance worker 2 full-time position requires 3 years of experience. So they will have already gotten 2 years plus the technology certificate under their belt. They spend a year, and when we have a vacancy for the full-time position, it would be easy for them to do that. So the funding for all of the programs are through our seasonal laborer dollars that we would dedicate to this program. We want to start off with one, and we want to stagger. So this fall, we would like to enroll one, and then we would start another one a year later, so that we always had the ability to to move things around. And then based on kind of like our forecasted vacancies, that would determine being able to hold open the facility maintenance worker too. One of the other things, the part-time position that would be available for them. One of the other things, by having them get their commercial driver's license, and because they work within Public Works, they would also be eligible for, after the 2-year period, they could move into other areas. So if they wanted a full-time position, until another position, a full-time position for the facility maintenance worker too, so they don't lose the skill set. It's going to be important for them to get that 3 years of experience, so we're going to, once they get that in facilities maintenance, then then they could move and venture out to, if there's not a full-time position available, they would have the skill set to be able to do some of the other stuff in Public Works.
And that's an investment. We want them to do
Yes.
something, it's fabulous.
No, that's
Right,
wonderful.
Are you ready for
Yes,
questions? No.
absolutely.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Alderman Braithwaite and then Alderman Grover.
Just so you know,
Did you-
This
that's
is
it.
fabulous.
This is
I
really
had no
exciting.
idea that it was.
Do you want to go first? Was your light on?
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm loving this. It does exactly what we've been.
Yeah.
How many of our goals does this check off?
Yeah.
It doesn't check them off entirely, but how many does this touch?
Yeah.
Of council goals, of city
Yeah.
goals altogether?
But-
My question is, what if this is a 2.5-year program, more or less? What if someone decides that they can't live in Evanston? Do they have to withdraw from the residency? If they can't stay an Evanston resident for the full course of the program, for one reason or another, can they continue to participate?
The entry-level test is on the front end. I mean, we could talk about it. I think you need to be an Evanston resident to be able to
at least
participate.
begin the program,
Right,
right?
that's
To
correct.
At least, start the program. And my question is then, I have a couple questions, are we requiring them to stay Evanston residents for the full 2.5 years? Does that make sense? Or are we looking really to employ people, and our Evanston residents, and how much does it matter that in 2.5 years that they still have an Evanston address? If maybe at that point they're launched, they're independent, they can't find the affordable apartment in Evanston, maybe it's somewhere else.
Well, I can tell you that in terms of my response to that, the requirements that are listed in here requires the 2 years as the Mayor Summer Youth
Right.
is attached to the Evanston Township High School. A good majority of the employees within the Streets and Sanitation Division in particular, and also in forestry, are ETHS graduates, even if they don't still reside in Evanston.
Right.
So I would say that that is a good work pool and a commitment and support to the families that, you know, even if they have extended family members that are here in Evanston, they're connected to the community,
Well, I think
care
they're
about the
ours,
community.
and
Right.
regardless of,
Right.
you know, where they are
That's
living
correct.
at age 21, if there are high school graduates and they've spent 2 years in our summer youth employment program and they started this apprenticeship program as an Evanston resident, I think they're ours, and those are the people that we want
Let's work on this.
to do
behind the scenes.
workforce
Yes.
development. Yeah, my other question is I love the idea of a guaranteed job at the end of completion of the apprenticeship program, and I assume that you've also done some numbers crunching to figure out what the natural retirement rate is for your current facilities maintenance crews are, our teams, employees who are already there, so that there's a natural kind of filling in of those positions,
Certainly for the
so
first
that the jobs do exist.
Right. For the first few years, we have done that, but what I had alluded to is that if we didn't see a projected vacancy towards the end, then we wouldn't offer the apprenticeship. You know, we would skip a year, or so we have the flexibility to start the program based on when we can project that there would actually be
So we
movement in
we can redirect these career trajectories depending upon what it looks like, retirements and positions, and what's going to be opening up in Public Works altogether, which is a huge department.
That's
So
correct.
There's a lot of flexibility there. Great.
Just a quick comment to thank you very much for coming up with a really comprehensive program that's going to assist our particularly our young residents and create, you know, lifetime career opportunities for them. I mean, that's what I see here, and not only are you giving them an opportunity to work for the city, but it sounds like by going through this program, it'll also give them an opportunity to go other municipalities for employment as well. So thank you very much, Director. Oh, yeah.
When they get their 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I just wanted to add what Alderman Grover was talking about, them being an Evanston resident. If we do our job and get the affordable housing stuff going, then they will be able to afford to live in Evanston, so it won't be a problem.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Start, I don't know, 7:15?
7:15.
7:15.